You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, GH fans, there is a messy situation brewing with Willow Tait as she slept with two men, one after the other, Michael Corinthos and Drew Quartermaine. Are we about to get a dual daddy dilemma? It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and there might be something even more complicated than that coming because there's another woman in the mix. But before we dig in, please subscribe if you haven't yet. So I knew when I saw this week's promo that there was about to be some nanny cam action on Michael's phone. But I did not realize what an eyeful he was going to get of Willow riding Drew like a 50-cent pony ride outside the dollar store. This just kind of proved that Scout really needs to stay at the Quartermaine house so she can have proper parental supervision from somebody other than her dad, Drew, because he was not there when she needed him the first time she actually needed him because he was doing something he shouldn't have been doing, right? Scout had a nightmare and Drew wasn't in his room where he should have been because he was being straddled by Michael's wife. And this is after weeks of Willow telling Drew, stay away from me. I love my husband. So also, she should have been comforting her husband, but instead she went to Drew with a hug, a kiss, and then offered him her body. Plus, Willow had slept with Michael the night before she slept with Drew. And on a soap opera, we all know that back-to-back bedroom action with two different men means a possible pregnancy plot. So Willow might turn up pregnant with a big question about whether Michael or Drew is the baby daddy. And yes, that would definitely be messy if she turns up pregnant, but it might get even messier because Michael has made a mess of his own that his wife doesn't even know about. Because the night before Willow did the couch tango with her hubby, he was in bed with another woman. And that was what popped into my head when Michael was glaring at that video. He looked like his head was gonna explode, but he had just done the dirty with Sasha Gilmore after getting boozed up after finding out Willow kissed Drew. So I do agree Michael had a reason to be upset finding out his uncle was smooching his wife, but sleeping with Willow's best friend was not an appropriate response. And what happens if Michael got Sasha pregnant? I mean, if General Hospital wants to go super soapy with baby rabies, we could have Willow pregnant and Sasha pregnant. And by the way, if you were wondering, because I've seen it in a few comments and tweets in different places, no, Cody and Sasha were never intimate. They kept getting interrupted for a reason. And the reason was GH wasn't going to have cousins in the sheets together, at least not in this day and age. They may have done it in the past. I wasn't going to go digging through history and gross myself out. So if Sasha were pregnant, it would definitely be Michael's baby. But if Willow turned up pregnant, that's a question mark about who's the daddy. So we have one, possibly two pregnancies, but there's more to it. And it's kind of interesting because there's four people involved. There's Michael, there's Willow, there's Drew, there's Sasha. Only one of them has all of the information, and that's Michael. But he only got all the info after the fact, after he did the big thing he shouldn't have done. So I'm just real quick going to rank these four people in order of bad behavior from least bad to most bad. The least awful to me is Sasha. She was heartbroken over losing the man she loved, Cody, because he's her cousin. And she was already hitting the booze at the Brown Dog Bar by the time Michael showed up. Plus, she knew that Willow and Drew had betrayed him and she felt bad for him. So Sasha was hurt, knew her best friend had done this, and then got drunk, made a sloppy mistake with Michael that she regretted. And then she slipped up and told him the second kiss that Willow and Drew shared. But that didn't even matter because of what he found out later. So next in line for bad behavior, believe it or not, the third least guilty person in this, I actually rank Michael. He was heartbroken and hurt because he found out Willow was having this emotional affair and kissing Drew. And then he got drunk and spent time talking to his ex, Sasha, and they are close friends as well. And Michael also made a drunken mistake that he immediately regretted. And then he got home, he saw Willow, and she was so apologetic. And I think Michael decided, all right, she screwed up, I screwed up, let's put it behind us. We're going to save our marriage. And that's why he made love to Willow. And yes, he did cheat, but he didn't do it stone cold sober and with intent. But Drew and Willow were getting kissy and handsy on July 4th, and they were pretty sober, and they were stone cold sober on the second occasion in his office when they were about to rip clothes off, and then very much sober the more recent time. So next in line in terms of bad choices, believe it or not, I kind of feel like Drew is a slightly better than Willow. It's a toss-up, only because he's single and Willow is married. I mean, honestly, it's almost a tie with these two. She's married to his nephew, but, Drew was not married when he kissed her. But then again, he was hate-sexing her mom, Nina, at that point that he kissed her. So yeah, he wasn't in a relationship, but doing the deed with her mom and then making out with her married daughter is just gross. Willow, of course, doesn't know about her mom's role in this, but she knows that she's married and shouldn't be crushing on or kissing another man. And she didn't just kiss Drew. Remember, Willow was totally hot for him. Like, she was kind of falling for him, and now she has slept with him, and it's all so messy and soapy. So here's what I think. I think Michael is going to sit on what he knows for a few more episodes, maybe even a week, because of Sam's funeral. Just because so many people are grieving and he knows this is going to be explosive. And just by the way, why was Willow giving comfort sex to Drew instead of Michael? Sam has been in Michael's life literally his whole life. So it was a huge loss for him. Drew has known Sam for like 8 years, give or take. And yes, they have a kid together, but Sam has been a fixture in Michael's life. He equated it to losing a big sister. But Willow, through all her sympathy and her naked body, at Drew. So we'll see if Sasha or Willow turn up pregnant. But here's one last thought. Does anybody else in the Q family have access to that nanny cam? Because there's another spoiler this week saying Tracy and Cody do some plotting. And if you remember, Ace Cassadine was staying at the Q house because Tracy was watching him for Laura. And Ace would have been spending time up in the nursery/playroom where the nanny cam sits. So does Tracy Quartermaine have the app on her phone also? Remember, she was helping out a whole lot as a favor to Laura, so is BLQ. But if anyone else had the app on their phone, my money would be Tracy. And boy, wouldn't that make everything so much worse as we get deeper into November sweeps.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.